A great day to everyone, especially to Coach Jude Martinez and to my fellow classmates. I am Kiara Sudim from BPED 1E and I'm the little teacher for this group. And I'm with my student teachers Joseph Jan Fabriga, Princess Lanipa, Chriselle Mayla Manilaw, and Cyril Somo. And we are the Study Hub number 5, The Dreamers. We are here to tackle the third lesson of our topic, which is the Society and Education Introduction to Society, Community, and Education, defining the basic concepts, philosophical, sociological perspective, and the K-12 curriculum. The outline for this lesson was teacher and the community school, culture, and organizational leadership. So, let's begin with this statement. Having studied progressivism, which focuses its educational stance toward experiential learning with emphasis on developing the whole child, also be able to give brief additional background of progressivism and also the role of the teacher in the classroom. Also, the present samples of progressivist classroom environment. So, here the brief background of progressivism. Progressivist education is a reaction to the traditional style of teaching. It's a pedagogical movement that values experience over learning facts of the expense of understanding what is being taught. When you examine the teaching styles, that curriculum of the 19th century, you understand why certain educators decided that there had to be a better way. So here's the role of the teachers in the classroom. Progressivist teacher try making school interesting and useful by planning lessons that provoke curiosity. In a progressivist school, students are actively learning. In addition, students solve problems in classrooms similar to those they will encounter and in their everyday lives. Furthermore, in traditional education, the teachers leads the classroom from front, whereas a more progressive teaching model sees the teacher as a facilitator who interact with students and encourage them to think and question the world around them. So here's some example, the progressivist classroom environment. So an obvious example of progressivism could be our class. We are in a group of a lot of we actively learn through discussion. We talk about what we read and can be incorporated into our future teaching careers. He or she wanted the student to work on hands-on project so learning will be take place rather than memorization. Furthermore, in a progressivist school, students are actively learning. The students interact with one another and develop social qualities such as cooperation and tolerance. For different point of view, in addition, students solve problems in the classroom similar to those they will encounter in their everyday lives. Progressivists believe that the education should be processed on ongoing growth, not just preparation for becoming an adult. So now, let's proceed to our next presenter.
Hi everyone, I am Princess Lanipa from Study Hub number 5. So for today, we will discuss the philosophy in education. Here, we will only focus on the 4 main types of philosophies that may help you to form your teaching philosophy and write your teaching statement. The 4 main types philosophy in education are perennialism, essentialism, romanticism, and progressivism. So now, I will discuss the perennialism. Perennialism values knowledge that transcends time. This is a subject-centered philosophy. A goal of perennialist educator is to teach students to think rationally and develop minds that can think critically. A perennialist classroom aims to be a closely organized and disciplined environment which develops a student a lifelong quest for the truth. Perennialists believe that education could optimize a prepared effort to make these ideas available to students and to guide their thought processes toward the understanding and appreciation of the great works. Works of literature written by history's finest thinker and transcends time and never become outdated. Perennialists are primarily concerned with the importance of mastery of the content and development of reasoning skills. The adage, the more things change, the more they stay the same, summarizes the perennialist perspective on education. In this philosophy, skills are developed in a sequential manner. Here, the teachers are the main actor on the stage. Perennialism is a basic philosophical belief in unchangeable ideas of truth, reality, knowledge, and values. The philosophy absolutely believes in permanence, which is more real than change. Next is the essentialism. Essentialism is also a subject centered philosophy. Essentialism is the educational philosophy of teaching basic skills. This philosophy advocates training the mind. Essentialist educators focus on transmitting a series of progressively difficult topics and promotion of students to the next level. Subjects are focused on the historical context of a material world and culture and move sequentially to give a solid understanding of the present day. Essentialism is common model in US public schools today. A typical day at an essentialist school might have 7 periods, with students attending a different class each period. The teachers impart knowledge mainly through conducting lectures during which students are expected to take notes. The students are provided with practice worksheets or hand-on project, followed by an assessment of the learning material covered during this process. The student continue with the some daily schedule for a semester or a year. When their assessment show sufficient competence, they are promoted to the next level to learn the next level of more difficult materials. William C. Bagley was one of the most influential advocates of essentialism. Educational essentialism is an educational philosophy whose adherents believe that children should learn the traditional basic subject truly. In this philosophical school of thought, the aim is to instill a student with the essential of academic knowledge, enacting a back to basics approach.
Hi, Coach Jude. I am Christian Mila Manila from BPED1E, Study Hub Group number 5. Today I'm going to explain the progressivism. Progressivism believes that individuality, progress, and change are fundamental to one's education, believing that people learn best from what they're considered most relevant to their lives. Progressivism center their curricula on the needs, experience, interests, and abilities of students. Progressivists, teachers try making school interesting and useful by planning lessons that provoke curiosity. In a progressivism school, students are actively learning that students interact with one another and develop social qualities such as cooperation and tolerance for different point of view. Progressivism is an educational movement started by John Dewey that says that students learn through their own experience. Progressivism revolves around the students' needs, including teaching students to be good citizens as well as good learners, a concept known as focusing on the whole child. Progressivism in education is important. Progressivism in education today helps students master a couple of important skills needed once they pursue their careers. Students learn to cooperate with teams, think critically before doing things, and use creative means to resolve problems. Kids also need to learn to contribute independently. Reconstructionism is an educational approach that is not affiliated with any one system of thought. When members of a group are faced with racist, sexist, and homophobic attitude, they speak up and advocate for change. Reconstructionism is a philosophy of education that focuses on empowering the learners to take control of their own learning. It has been argued that this approach is most effective for learners who struggle with more traditional and linear styles of learning. The reconstructional in education philosophy is the belief that education should be designed so that learners experience learning as an environment where they are treated like democratic participants. The teachers and the managers are there to help and guide, not to control. It is a philosophy that leaves room for the idea of progress and the notion that education is lifelong and not just a process of merely learning skills to be used at work. Reconstructionism education was based on the theory that society can be reconstructed through the complete control of education. The objective was to change society to comfort the basic ideas of the political party or government in a power or to create an utopian society through education. With the implementation of social reconstructionism in education, a student can gain first-hand experience in studying real social problems and controversial issues. The curriculum applied to education reflect democratic ideals and emphasize civic education.
Constructionism is a philosophy that emphasizes the addressing of social questions and the quest to create a better society and worldwide democracy. Constructionism educators focus on a curriculum that highlights social reform as the aim of the education. The philosophy of constructionism contains two major society is in need of constant construction or change. Such society change involves a construction of education and the use of education constructing society.
Good day, Coach Jude and classmates. Before anything else, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Estudiante Fabriga from BPET 1E. For this video presentation, I will explain the importance of different philosophies and sociological theories to education and how they change the education's landscape in response to the needs of the society and the community as well. So every different philosophies and sociological theories to education has significant contribution in education when it comes of teachings to guide professionals' action to the events and issues wherever that we face it, wherein the philosophies we can use that provide a better knowledge of our future students, and also they can use for their pursue careers. That's why we have a different teaching method including these philosophies in education to ensure adequate knowledge is provided how they going to teach them where into education system has changed, especially at this time of pandemic, wherein the emergence of blended learning, online classes, experiential learning has changed how students are interacting with the education's content. However, education raises people's productivity and creativity and promotes the entrepreneurship and technological advances. But the main role of education is that education helps in creation of better society. Thus, education shows us the importance of handwork and at the same time help us to grow and develop.
So that is the overall presentation of the study hub number 5, The Dreamers. Before we end our presentation, here's the all references of our lessons. So that's all. Thank you for watching.